Welcome to Night Chemistry, your midnight laboratory of calm. Tonight, we dive into the essence of matter itself, exploring the silent stories hidden within one of nature's fundamental building blocks. Ease back, let darkness gather softly around the room, and invite one slow breath together. Breathe in to the count of 4. 3. Hold still and feather light. 3. Exhale gently for 6. And 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel tension flow out like vapor curling from a kettle, leaving only quiet. Now picture the universe in its first hush of being, an ink-black expanse before galaxies unfolded. In that silence, a single note of creation emerged. Hydrogen, the simplest whisper of matter, one proton cradling one electron. As you breathe, imagine yourself floating in that newborn dusk. Vast clouds of pristine hydrogen drift around you, luminous yet weightless, waiting to gather to fuse to kindle the first stars. Their faint glow brushes your skin like cool starlight. Let's take another breath. Inhale the clean, almost weightless lightness of hydrogen. 3. Hold, letting that purity suspend inside your chest. 3. Exhale, release every lingering thought. And 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel shoulders soften, jaw loosen, thoughts dissolving like mist at dawn. Before you, the periodic table slowly shimmers into view, an illuminated atlas of everything that ever was or will be. At its summit, glowing with soft pearlescent white, rests the single letter H, the first element, the cosmic seed. Let its glow wash over you, gentle and reassuring. Your breathing returns to a natural rhythm, unhurried, effortless, mirroring hydrogen's own quiet drift among nebulae. With each inhale, envision tiny spheres of this element joining your breath, lightening the air within. With each exhale, imagine cares dispersing into the velvet void. Float here a moment longer, cradled by the elemental calm of hydrogen, ancient, humble, eternal. When you are ready, allow consciousness to rest on that glowing H, and know that our deeper journey into the invisible heart of hydrogen is about to begin. Discovery 1.1 Who first revealed hydrogen? Let night settle over your mind like a velvet curtain, and picture a tall, book-lined study in 18th century London. A shy, soft-spoken aristocrat named Henry Cavendish moves through lamplight, his footsteps hushed against polished oak. He is almost spectral, blue-gray eyes downcast, fingers forever ink-stained, but curiosity burns within him brighter than any hearth. With measured grace he lowers fragments of zinc into a glass flask half filled with clear, pungent acid. Tiny silver beads rise, then burst into bubbles that skip toward the corked neck, gathering there like captive fireflies. Cavendish tilts his head, listening to the faint hiss, an invisible whisper promising secrets. He captures the gas in an upturned jar and touches a taper to its mouth. Boom! A blue flash leaps skyward, startling even the unflappable chemist. This inflammable air, he notes, is far lighter than common air and burns with a uniquely clean flame. Though medieval alchemists and Robert Boyle had glimpsed versions of this substance before, it is Cavendish who first weighs it, measures it, and, most importantly, recognizes it as a distinct element. In 1766, he presents his findings to the Royal Society, describing a gas that seems almost to defy gravity itself. From that moment, hydrogen steps out of shadow and into the written record of science. Take a slow breath in for gentle counts, as though drawing Cavendish's lamplit wonder into your lungs. Hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, then exhale for 6, letting all glide outward like a candle's warm breath. 1.2 When the element emerged from silence. Cast your thoughts back still further, to the winter of 1671. Beside a crackling Dutch hearth, the natural philosopher Johann Baptista van Helmont drops iron filings into oil of vitriol and notices a violent effervescence that fills the room with a subtle, flickering light when ignited. He lacks the tools and perhaps the patience to pursue it, yet leaves crumbs of observation for future minds. Another century passes. The Enlightenment dawns. It is January 1766 when Cavendish publishes, on factitious airs. Within its pages, the element's birthday is quietly inscribed. 2 decades later, in 1783, Antoine-Laurent Lavoisier repeats Cavendish's experiments, proving that this airy ghost, when burned, creates water. Lavoisier coins a name that means exactly that: hydrogenes, water former. Thus, in less than a generation, an ephemeral spark becomes the first stepping stone of modern chemistry and of the periodic table yet to be penned. Allow a new breath to rise, timing the inhale with that slow march of years. 1, 2, 3 for pause with a suspense of discovery, and release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, letting centuries of inquiry drift away into the hush around you. 1.3 Conditions and circumstances of discovery. The world that births hydrogen's revelation is alive with clinking glassware, acidic vapors, and the crackle of static globes. In cramped garrets from Paris to Prague, philosophers chase airs that escape fermented mash and fizz atop mineral springs. They speak of phlogiston and fixed airs, trying to map an unseen kingdom. Cavendish conducts his work in near silence. He records the specific gravity of the new gas. Discovering it is about 1/14 the weight of ordinary air, by balancing delicate brass weights against hand-blown spheres. His laboratory smells of brimstone and vinegar. His papers shiver when coaches rattle past on Clapham Road. Yet within that modest chamber he performs an experiment so elegant it might be a lullaby, burning the gas in a polished copper sphere cooled by ice water. Drops condense on the walls. He tastes them, ever cautious. Pure, sweet water. In that taste, the identity of the universe's first element is confirmed. Meanwhile, salons buzz with intellectual fervor. Lavoisier, dressed in velvet waistcoat, repeats the test under the scrutiny of Parisian academicians, proving that no phlogiston escapes. Oxygen enters, water forms. The revelation topples old theories like chess pieces, clearing the board for the periodic revolution to come. Even the skies seem to celebrate. In December 1783, the Montgolfier brothers launched the first human passengers above Versailles in a hydrogen-filled balloon, its silken envelope shining white against winter clouds. Onlookers gasp as men drift free of Earth's grip, buoyed by the very element Cavendish once trapped in a thumb-sized flask. Now, as you rest, imagine that balloon drifting across a star-studded night. Feel yourself rise with it, lighter, quieter. Each inhale a gentle ascent, each exhale a serene glide. Hydrogen's journey from humble laboratory hiss to cosmic abundance mirrors your own movement toward calm, a silent, graceful escape from daily gravity. Settle into that feeling. Let shoulders soften, jaw unhinge, and thoughts float like gaslit globes into upper air. Discovery, like sleep, begins in curiosity and ends in weightless peace. Hydrogen has shown the way. All you need do is follow its quiet upward drift. The story pauses here, the lamp dimmed, awaiting the next chapter of our elemental voyage. For now, breathe softly, held by the same gentle force that once lifted silk above Versailles and sparks above Cavendish's hand. Properties and presence. 2.1 Key physical and chemical properties. Imagine yourself drifting just above a silent alpine lake at dawn. Mist curls off the surface. Thin, colorless, almost weightless. That vapor is mostly water. And inside every droplet 2 atoms of hydrogen clasp a single atom of oxygen like dancers at first light. Hydrogen itself is even lighter than the fog you see. As a molecule, 2 atoms joined hand in hand. It is odorless, colorless, tasteless, and 12 times less dense than the air now brushing your skin. If you could cradle a balloon of pure hydrogen in gloved hands, it would tug upward with such insistence that your arms might feel suddenly feather-boned. Its boiling point is a whisper above absolute zero, -252 degrees Celsius, and its melting point hovers a breath below that, -259 degrees Celsius. Between those extremes, hydrogen prefers to be a gas, restless, wide-roaming, eager to fill every corner of space offered. Yet cool it enough, and it condenses into a glassy liquid as pale as moonlight on polar ice. Cool it further, and it crystallizes into a faint blue solid more delicate than frost on window panes. Strike a spark near hydrogen, and it answers with clean, invisible flame. No smoke, no soot. Only a quick blue shimmer and droplets of new-made water falling like dew. Listen closely. The reaction is a hush more than a roar, a sigh returning 2 ancient companions, hydrogen and oxygen, to their favorite embrace. In the quiet of your mind, picture 3 subtle variations of the atom. Protium, the common form with a lone proton. Deuterium, heavier by a single neutron, lapping calmly in Earth's oceans. And tritium, a radiant elder used in luminous watch faces and research reactors. All 3 isotopes flicker peacefully in the universe's great tapestry, reminding us that even the simplest element can wear more than one mask. Pause here. Draw a gentle breath to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, as if cupping that breath in cupped palms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6. Imagining hydrogen's clean flame carrying your worries away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2.2 Position in the periodic table. Let the mist rise and reshape itself into a luminous periodic table hanging in the pre-dawn sky. Every rectangle glows softly, but your eye is drawn upward left, where a solitary square perched above all others pulses with pearl-white light. H, atomic number 1. Hydrogen is both beginning and outsider. It perches atop group 1, sharing a single valence electron with the alkali metals, yet it is no metal at everyday pressures. Some chemists draft it over helium instead, acknowledging its non-metal character. Others give it its own private pinnacle. The table seems to whisper. Here is the key that unlocks the rest. Because that lone electron orbits so loosely, hydrogen is a born collaborator. It lends, borrows, and sometimes shares its electron to forge the countless bonds that stitch matter together. Without that willingness, water would not flow, organic molecules would not twist into life's spirals, and stars would burn cold and dark. Picture the table folding into a compass. Hydrogen sits at true north, an eternal pointer guiding your gaze across families of metals, non-metals, noble gases, and metalloids. Knowing where hydrogen stands is knowing where every other element begins its own journey. Let your next breath mirror that compass. Inhale toward the quiet north, gently hold. Then exhale southward, letting calm ripple across the cardinal points of mind and muscle alike. 2.3 Prevalence and natural sources. Now, widen your view beyond the lake, beyond Earth, into the lantern-dotted gulf of night. Out there, hydrogen is cosmic abundance itself, roughly 3/4 of all ordinary matter. It swirls in titanic nebulae, fountains from newborn stars, and rains as metallic droplets deep within gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn. Every pinprick star you've ever wished upon is a colossal furnace where hydrogen fuses, releasing the starlight now reaching your retinas. Closer to home, Hydrogen threads through Earth's oceans, composing 2/3 of every water molecule that laps beaches and quenches thirst. It hides in natural gas fields as methane, seeps from volcanic vents in featherplume whispers, and drifts through the upper atmosphere where ultraviolet light eventually splits it free into space. Scoot still nearer to the level of breath and blood, and hydrogen emerges again, in glucose-sweetening ripe berries, in the amino acids that knit muscle, in every pulse of ATP that powers the quiet engine of your heart. You carry around 10 kilograms of hydrogen in water and organic tissue, an intimate ocean contained within skin's shoreline. Imagine a leisurely river winding from mountains to sea. Its ripples flash silver under moonlight. Each glint is a hydrogen atom catching the photon path. That river feeds rain-soaked soil, nourishes pine needles, then evaporates to join cloud caravans, an endless pilgrimage powered by the lightness of element one. All night, hydrogen cycles between phases, locations, and forms, yet never tires. Let your final breath in this block follow the river's rhythm. Inhale gently, feeling internal tides rise. Hold as moonlit reflections shimmer. Exhale, sending a silent tributary of calm back to the cosmic ocean. Stay here a moment, weightless between lake mist and star forge. You have listened to hydrogen's essential traits, traced its proud place on the periodic compass, and floated through the realms it inhabits, from galactic spirals to the quiet tide inside your veins. With that awareness glowing like a soft ember in the chest, allow eyelids to settle half-closed. Block 3 waits beyond a tranquil pause, ready to guide us deeper into hydrogen's celestial labors. For now, simply breathe light, pure, elemental. Role in the universe. 3.1 The stellar seedbed. Close your eyes and let the room fade until only velvet darkness surrounds you. In that hush, picture the newborn universe 13+ billion years ago. A vast, cooling ocean of almost nothing but hydrogen. Gravity, patient as a lullaby, coaxed filaments of this element to gather, thicken, and finally ignite in the first stars. Inside each incandescent core, 4 hydrogen nuclei pressed so tightly together that they fused, releasing light that swept across the void like the universe's very first sigh. With every fusion pulse, hydrogen sacrificed a sliver of itself to create helium and, layer by layer, the heavier elements that would one day carve mountain ranges and line the hemoglobin in your blood. Breathe in slowly to a count of 4, as if drawing that starlight across eons toward your lungs. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Then exhale for 6, imagining photons spilling outward to seed galaxies with warmth. Even now, some of the glow striking your eyelids began its journey in hydrogen furnaces older than Earth itself. The cycle continues today. In the heart of every sun you see at dusk, oceans of pressurized hydrogen churn, fuse, and radiate. Those ceaseless reactions keep planets temperate, drive weather on distant moons, and paint auroras in curtains of jade and violet. When the most massive stars exhaust their hydrogen, they collapse and explode. Supernovas scattering new atoms into interstellar clouds that, in turn, birth fresh generations of suns. Hydrogen is therefore both the spark that starts the cosmic engine and the quiet fuel that keeps it humming. 3.2 Architect of planets and winds. Shift your attention from stellar hearts to the whirled grandeur of gas giants. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune wear mantles of molecular hydrogen so thick that sunlight cannot pierce more than a whisper beneath their clouds. Deep inside Jupiter, pressures crush hydrogen into an exotic metallic form, an ocean of liquid metal that conducts electricity and stirs a magnetic field 40 times stronger than Earth's. Each subtle auroral ribbon at Jupiter's pole is a luminous reminder of hydrogen's hidden versatility. Closer to home, tiny kernels of the element hide in plain sight. Every gust of solar wind is a stream of charged hydrogen, protons flung from the sun's corona, brushing past satellites, sculpting comet tails, and occasionally rattling radio transmissions on Earth. In the exosphere above our own sky, stray hydrogen atoms drift so lightly that some escape our planet altogether, slipping back into interplanetary night like travelers catching a final train. Now breathe again. Soft inhale, gentle hold, unhurried release, and feel your shoulders float, as though you yourself were one of those atoms free of all gravity's tethers. Hydrogen invites the imagination to roam. It shapes nebulae into glowing murals, fuels the jets of newborn protostars, and kindles the faint red flicker of brown dwarfs that almost, but not quite, cross the threshold into true stardom. 3.3 Cosmic Traveler. From Big Bang to breath. Listen for a moment to the quiet hum in your ears. A fragment of that murmur is the cosmic microwave background, radiation left over from the instant when electrons first paired with hydrogen nuclei and the universe became transparent. Those photons have cooled for 13 billion winters, yet they still whisper around you, a cradle song older than galaxies. On meteoroids, hydrogen bonds to form ice that survives the cold black between stars. When such ice-flecked stones fall into planetary atmospheres, they ferry water, 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen, to barren worlds. Many astronomers believe Earth received a portion of its oceans this way, delivered grain by grain in shimmering arcs of comet dust. Thus the waves that lap midnight beaches carry interstellar ancestry. Gently place a hand over your heart. Nearly every beat pushes blood-rich with hydrogen-laden water through 60,000 miles of vessels. Each strand of DNA in every nucleus of every cell relies on hydrogen bonds to zip and unzip the code of life. The same element that once flared into existence before the first sunrise now choreographs the silent multiplication of cells in a leaf, the curl of steam from a teacup, the words forming in your mind as you listen. Take one final slow breath, letting it trace the arc from cosmic dawn to present moment. Inhale the thought that the atoms you draw were forged seconds after time itself began. Exhale the awareness that, after their stay within you, they will journey on, perhaps to drift in clouds, to sparkle in snowflakes, or to fuse inside a distant, unborn star. Rest in that gentle continuum. Hydrogen is the universe's first note, and its steady basso continuo, humming beneath every nova, every rainfall, every sigh. Allow that hum to cradle you now, a soft vibration woven through mattress, air, and heartbeat alike. As eyelids grow heavy, imagine yourself floating amid a slow swirl of pale blue hydrogen nebulae, weightless, timeless, peacefully part of the music that began long before language and will linger long after dreams. Sleep, knowing the first element keeps watch, a silent guardian flickering in the core of stars, glimmering in every breath, binding the cosmos together with bonds as delicate and as enduring as the rhythm of your own calm inhale and gentle drifting exhale. Role in life. 4.1 Within the quiet cathedral of the body. Let the hush of midnight wrap around you like a favorite blanket, and place one gentle hand over your heart. Feel it rise and fall, steady, tireless, each beat propelled by rivers of blood that are nearly 3/4 water. Every droplet of that water cradles two light atoms of hydrogen linked to a single oxygen, forming the liquid that cushions your joints, cools your skin, and ferries nutrients from cell to cell. Now imagine sinking deeper, past muscle and membrane, until you stand on the inner balcony of a single living cell. Below, an orchestra of proteins folds and unfolds with balletic grace. Every pirouette depends on delicate hydrogen bonds tugging strands of amino acids into stable shapes. Look farther still, to the spiraling staircases of DNA. Their rungs, too, are fastened by hydrogen's whisper-thin embrace. Tiny magnets that zip and unzip the code of life so quietly you never hear the click. Along the inner wall of this cellular cathedral hum thousands of miniature turbines called ATP synthase. They spin only because an invisible current of hydrogen ions flows across the mitochondrial membrane, a proton tide as patient as moon-pulled seas. Each full rotation forges a new ATP molecule, the coin of cellular energy, before releasing spent hydrogen to drift, rejoin water, and begin again. Breathe in for 4 counts, as though drawing that proton tide into your chest. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6. And feel cares wash away with the same ease that blood carries excess hydrogen ions to your lungs. When you breathe out, you are quietly balancing the pH of your blood, preventing it from straying into perilous acidity. Even the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, fierce enough to soften bone, owes its bite to hydrogen, yet a billion buffering reactions keep the rest of you safe. Remember too that some desert animals survive months without drinking because metabolism strips hydrogen from stored fat, pairing it with inhaled oxygen to make fresh water inside their cells. In every sense, hydrogen is both first sip and final exhale, the silent custodian of life's chemistry. 4.2 Life's universal thread. Shift your focus outward to a moonlit garden. Leaves glisten with dew, and beneath each glossy surface a miracle unfolds. Sunlight splits water, freeing hydrogen's electrons to glide down the green rails of photosynthesis. Those electrons help weave simple carbon molecules into sugars, fruits, and seeds. Food that will steady your pulse tomorrow morning. Even the oxygen that perfumes night air is a byproduct of hydrogen's gentle departure from water during daylight hours. Kneel in imagination at a forest floor, where microbes feast on decaying leaves. Some species inhale hydrogen gas the way we inhale air, using it as an energy gift in the dark. Deep within termite guts, hydrogen bubbles from fermenting wood pulp, then slips into the waiting mouths of archaea that convert it, grain by grain, into the methane flickering over distant marshes. In volcanic vents beneath the sea, entire ecosystems dine on hydrogen streaming from the planet's crust, proving that life needs no sunlight if it can sip the universe's first element. Now tilt your gaze upward toward a flowering vine. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria nestle in its root nodules, breaking the rock-hard N-is-identical-to-N bond of atmospheric nitrogen. They rely on a cascade of hydrogen ions and electrons to forge ammonia, which the plant will transform into proteins and chlorophyll. Without that unseen hydrogen economy below ground, forests would thin, fields would pale, and the menu of life would dwindle to a hushed whisper. Turn next to the open ocean at dawn. Cyanobacteria float by the trillion, each cell splitting water and releasing a trace of molecular hydrogen that drifts skyward. Some of that gas will escape Earth entirely, slipping into cold interplanetary dark. Some will dissolve back into waves, feeding other microbes in an endless handoff of energy. Even whales, surfacing to breathe, exhale plumes that carry faint notes of hydrogen mixed with moisture and salt, an ancient signature linking mammal to microbe, root to leaf, river to star. Take another slow breath, 4 counts in, 4 counts held, 6 counts out. As you exhale, picture hydrogen atoms leaving chloroplasts at sunset, coursing through sap overnight, then joining the dawn-time song of photosynthesis again. Element 1 never tires. It simply cycles, from proton to electron, from water to sugar, from breath to breeze, lacing every organism into a single luminous tapestry. Rest in that knowledge a moment longer. Hydrogen is the quiet thread that embroiders bone and bark, feather and fern, pulse and petal. With your next easy inhale, feel yourself stitched securely into that living fabric, light, enduring, and serenely whole. Practical applications of hydrogen. 5.1 Medicine. The quiet healer. Imagine a midnight ward bathed in soft blue monitor light. A patient rests easy as clear gas flows through a nasal cannula. The mixture is mostly oxygen, yet it carries a gentle whisper of molecular hydrogen. Clinicians have found that tiny doses of H2 can dampen harmful free radicals, easing inflammation after strokes or heart surgery. The gas slips through cell membranes like a comforting breeze, quieting oxidative storms without stealing the oxygen that tissues crave. Elsewhere, a nurse tilts a brown bottle and lets hydrogen peroxide bead onto a cotton pad. It fizzes over a scraped knee, releasing sparkling oxygen that lifts away lurking microbes. That familiar hiss, soft, reassuring, comes from hydrogen surrendering its bond so skin can mend faster. Step into an MRI suite where a technician adjusts a scanner tuned not to protons in water, but to those in deuterium-labeled tracers. Heavy water molecules, only a single neutron heavier than ordinary ones, map metabolic pathways in tumors with exquisite clarity. Yet the patient hears only the distant drum of magnets and feels the calm of stillness. Hydrogen's isotopes working silently in the dark. Take a 4-count breath, imagining each inhale carrying the restorative patience of hydrogen's clinical uses, each exhale releasing the day's small abrasions into night air. 5.2 Technology and Industry. Fires that lift and lights that hum. Now let your mind drift to a moonlit launch pad. Under floodlights, a towering rocket hums as technicians chill its tanks to -200 degrees. Inside sloshes liquid hydrogen, clear as melted starlight, paired with liquid oxygen. When the engines ignite, their exhaust is little more than steam and pearl-white flame, an elemental duet powerful enough to heave satellites, observatories, and the dreams of explorers beyond Earth's blue cradle. Slide next into a quiet commuter train gliding through pre-dawn suburbs. Beneath the floor, fuel cell stacks sip compressed hydrogen. Inside each cell, protons drift through a polymer membrane like monks in single file, meeting oxygen at the far side to create nothing but electricity, warmth, and a puff of water vapor. Riders check messages, sip coffee, and never sense the electrochemical ballet carrying them forward. Far upriver at a sprawling refinery, hydrogen streams through steel pipelines, stripping sulfur from crude oil so engines will burn cleaner. In a neighboring hall, high-pressure reactors fuse nitrogen with hydrogen to make ammonia, the foundation of fertilizers that will feed blueberry bushes, wheat fields, and rooftop gardens alike. Across an ocean, technicians bubble hydrogen through molten metal to purge oxygen and prevent hairline cracks in aircraft wings. Every industry seems to find a use for the element that weighs almost nothing yet carries boundless potential. Breathe in again, 4 beats, feeling a hush of power beneath the ordinary clatter of civilization. Hold, acknowledging the invisible work hydrogen performs. Breathe out for 6, letting the hum of engines fade into night. 5.3 Everyday Life. Invisible threads in familiar things. Open the pantry of memory. A jar of smooth peanut butter, a packet of crisp wafers, a bar of soap faintly scented with lavender. All were touched by hydrogen. Food chemists bubble the gas through vegetable oils to create creamy spreads that will keep months on the shelf. Perfumers use it to refine delicate aromatics that cling to freshly laundered sheets. In the cupboard under the sink stands a blue cylinder of propane-butane cooking gas blended with a whisper of hydrogen to stabilize the flame. Strike a match, and the stove blooms with quiet heat perfect for chamomile tea. Above the stove, LED strips glow. Their semiconductors were grown in chambers flushed with ultrapure hydrogen that swept stray oxygen away atom by atom, ensuring flawless crystal so evening reading never flickers. Walk outside and lift your gaze. At dawn, weather balloons, thin latex lungs, rise into salmon-pink sky filled with hydrogen harvested from water electrolysis. Each carries instruments that will chart jet stream currents and help predict the week's gentle rain. On festival nights, children's balloons float too, their bright mylar skins tugging at strings. Parents tie knots firm, knowing the smallest element sneaks through any pinhole yet will lift laughter toward the stars for hours. Even the phone glowing beside your pillow owes part of its ancestry to hydrogen. During chip fabrication, a hydrogen-rich plasma etches circuits finer than a pollen grain, carving pathways where tomorrow's ideas will sprint. Take one last measured inhale. Picture all these commonplace wonders: the antiseptic fizz, the aroma of soap, the silent surge of a fuel cell bus, threaded together by hydrogen's patient willingness to bond, release, or simply drift upward. Hold that thought. Feel shoulders lighten as though buoyed by the same force that lofts a child's balloon. Then exhale, long, unhurried, letting any remaining tension evaporate like steam from a cooling kettle. From operating theaters to orchard rows, launch pads to laundry rooms, hydrogen moves unheard yet indispensable, a lantern carried by unseen hands through the corridors of modern life. As you settle deeper into the hush of night chemistry, let gratitude rise with each breath for the element that fuels rockets, heals wounds, cooks supper, and turns darkness into gentle light. You need do nothing more tonight than breathe and rest. Hydrogen will tend to the rest, as it always has. Curiosities and mysteries. Secrets in plain sight. Fascinating facts. Float a little higher in your imagination and look down at an everyday glass of water. 8 of every 10 atoms swirling there are hydrogen, yet 2 distinct personalities hide within each pair. The nuclei can spin in parallel, orthohydrogen, or opposite directions, parahydrogen. On a clear night inside giant gas storage spheres, engineers have heard the steels sing as warm orthomolecules quietly flip into the colder para state, releasing a faint heat that makes the tank walls hum like tuning forks. The element that weighs almost nothing can, in chorus, play a hidden nocturne for anyone patient enough to listen. Slip now to interstellar darkness. Astronomers map our galaxy by tuning radio dishes to hydrogen's soft 21-centimeter whisper, a single photon emitted when the electron flips its spin. Because these signals pass untroubled through dust that blinds optical telescopes, scientists call the line the lighthouse of the Milky Way. Many of the star fields printed on bedroom posters trace their shapes to that invisible murmur. Take an easy inhale, 4 gentle counts. Imagine that radio pulse traveling 600 light-years. Pause. Then exhale for 6, letting the universe's faint heartbeat settle you deeper into calm. Questions only stars can answer. Lingering mysteries. Drift outward to Jupiter's storm-wrapped core. Theory predicts that pressure there squeezes hydrogen until the atoms overlap, their electrons roaming free through a shimmering metallic ocean. No laboratory on Earth has yet produced a sample that stays stable at room pressure. Like a dream caught upon waking, metallic hydrogen vanishes the moment confinement eases. If one fragment could be preserved, it might conduct electricity with zero resistance or power rockets far beyond Saturn. For now, the substance remains a celestial rumor, waiting beneath clouds the color of rust and coral. Far subtler is the proton radius puzzle. When physicists measured the hydrogen atom with a muon in place of its electron, a heavier cousin that orbits 50 times closer, they found the proton size mysteriously smaller than all earlier estimates. Does this hint at unknown forces rippling through the quantum foam? A decade after the surprise, the numbers still refuse to agree. Even the simplest atom can hide a riddle that prods at the edges of physical law. Let your next breath mirror that quiet mystery. Draw it in, hold it like a question poised on the brink of revelation, then release it unhurried, trusting that some puzzles sweeten as they linger. Footnotes and fireside tales. Little-known anecdotes. On a chilly December afternoon in 1783, 3 Parisian nobles stepped into a hydrogen balloon painted sky blue and edged with golden suns. As they drifted over rooftops, ladies fainted, farmers knelt, and dogs barked at what seemed a floating moon. One witness later wrote, "The kingdom paused mid-breath, as if the first element itself had come down to carry human hopes aloft." The flight lasted 25 minutes and covered barely 9 kilometers, yet it marked the instant people realized that hydrogen could turn wanderlust into altitude. Less joyous is the story of the luxury airship that caught fire over New Jersey in 1937. Contrary to popular myth, the hydrogen flames were almost invisible. What spectators saw was the silvery skin's cellulose varnish burning bright orange. Survivors recalled the gas erupting with a sound like a sighing dragon, then rushing straight upward, sparing those who leapt clear. Even in calamity, hydrogen obeyed its nature, rising, vanishing, leaving behind only lessons in safer engineering. Step into literature for a final vignette. In 1874, Jules Verne penned a line often quoted by clean energy dreamers. "Water will one day be employed as fuel. Hydrogen and oxygen will furnish an inexhaustible source of heat and light." His prophecy drifts through time like a message in a bottle, inspiring modern researchers who split seawater with sunlight to bottle the dawn itself. Breathe once more, soft in, soft out, and picture all these footnotes fluttering around you like pages of a gentle scrapbook. A singing storage sphere on a winter night, a radio beacon from distant arms of the galaxy, a golden balloon drifting above Paris, a novelist tapping future truth on a brass-rimmed typewriter. Allow the collection of curiosities to settle over you like a quilt stitched from cosmic threads and human wonder. Hydrogen has shown that even the simplest thing can cradle melodies, mysteries, and stories untold, each one a quiet lamp to guide your thoughts toward rest. Let shoulders slacken, feel weight ease. With the next calm inhale, gather starlight, unanswered questions, and balloon-born dreams alike. With the following exhale, release them into darkness, where they can hover safely until morning calls. elemental dreams and sleep descent. Allow night to deepen around you until the room itself seems to blur into soft shadow. Somewhere far above, pale rivers of hydrogen shimmer along the spiral arms of the Milky Way. Yet here a single quiet breath links you to that cosmic tide. Draw it in now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel the coolness settle behind your sternum, then pause, 1, 2, 3, 4. And release 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, letting the air slip away like dew at dawn. Notice how effortlessly hydrogen serves. 2 atoms escort every molecule of oxygen into your lungs, cushioning red blood cells as they whisper through branching capillaries. That same element once blazed white-hot in the cores of newborn stars and now glides, unhurried, through the quiet avenues of your bloodstream. With each inhale you accept a gift billions of years in the making. With each exhale you return it, renewed, to the night around you. Let the mind drift farther until you hover above a silver ocean under moonlight. The waves support you as hydrogen supports galaxies, balloons, rockets, laughter. Shoulders loosen, spine lengthens, toes uncurl. No need to swim. Buoyancy does the work, just as hydrogen's lightness lifts children's balloons and weather probes alike. On the horizon a faint glow swells, the first moment of a new star kindling beyond Orion. Its light is far too young to reach Earth tonight, yet anticipation hums through the water like a lullaby. Hydrogen, squeezed in that hidden core, is giving up a sliver of its mass to forge radiance that will one day warm frozen worlds and brighten future afternoons. Let that promise settle over you. The simplest atom ripens into illumination, just as this simplest breath ripens into growing calm. Breathe again, slow, steady. Imagine your ribs as the delicate rings of a nebula, expanding, glowing, then relaxing back to quiet equilibrium. Any stray thoughts become flecks of cosmic dust, harmless, drifting outward until they vanish into star-speckled dark. If a memory flickers, something unfinished, someone waiting, see it as a soap bubble spun from hydrogen. Touch it gently with awareness. Watch it burst into a brief shimmer that fades, leaving only the hush behind. Now the scene shifts to a moon-white meadow. At its center stands a glass sphere filled with crystal-clear hydrogen, etched with a single letter H. Rest your palms against the cool curve. Inside, countless atoms whirl in silent freedom, each carrying ancient starlight. The sphere brightens in time with your heartbeat, pulsing brighter on the inhale, softer on the exhale, a wordless reminder that breath and cosmos share a rhythm written at creation's dawn. A pine-scented breeze rises, brushing frost-fine motes across the sphere. They melt instantly, slipping down the glass as tiny beads of water. Hydrogen's favorite alchemy, shifting from vapor to liquid with barely a whisper. Muscles release their final tension. Thoughts soften into shapes ready to dissolve. The meadow dims until only the pulsing sphere remains. Match your breathing to its glow. 4 counts in, 4 held, 6 out, or let the body choose its own cadence. Hydrogen adapts to whatever the universe asks. You can adapt to whatever quiet asks of you. Soon even the sphere turns translucent, then transparent, drifting away like mist. You find yourself floating in spacious dark that does not feel empty. Far-off sparks reveal other sleepers carried by their own elemental guardians. Filaments of invisible hydrogen stretch lung to lung, dream to dream, weaving a silent constellation of resting minds. Lids grow heavy, jaw loosens, fingers curl loosely, cradling warmth. Heartbeat slows to a tempo echoing distant quasars, steady, enduring. In this velvet hush, every cell begins gentle repair, ferrying hydrogen where it is needed, patching membranes, calming neurons, knitting the delicate hinge of tomorrow's smile. If words still flicker, imagine them written on thin rice paper boats. Hydrogen gathers beneath each hull, lifting, until they drift beyond sight, leaving only mirrored water and widening quiet. Take one more unhurried breath, slow in, slower out, and feel an inner doorway swing wider, inviting deeper rest. Beyond lies the silver ocean, the meadow, the newborn star, all waiting to cradle your dreams. Let awareness glide forward, floating on the element that began everything and still moves, serenely, within every breath. Now, as our journey softly comes to a close, allow yourself a moment of quiet reflection. Feel how each calm breath gently connects you to the element we've explored tonight, one tiny piece in the infinite mosaic of the universe. As you drift gently toward rest, picture your thoughts like atoms of the element we've visited today, floating serenely through the vastness of your imagination. Just as elements combine, transform, and quietly support all life around us, your mind now settles, combining peace with tranquility. Remember how every atom within you once journeyed through stars, oceans, and forests, cycling endlessly through the great natural symphony. Tonight's element, in its silent and humble way, is part of that eternal flow, gently sustaining the heartbeat of existence itself. Think of the wonder we share, this quiet exploration, this peaceful communion with matter. With each soft exhalation, you return the element back into the embrace of the world around you, an invisible yet profound exchange. You are part of this endless rhythm, connected in every silent moment, every restful sigh. Imagine the element we've discovered tonight, existing beyond time, beyond human stories, gently present long before us, and quietly continuing long after. It carries the memory of ancient worlds and dreams of futures yet unseen. You too hold this gentle eternity within each breath. Allow yourself now to float gently, as if carried by the element's invisible hands, toward restful sleep. Feel comforted by knowing that the universe generously shares every atom, every molecule, every peaceful moment with you. Let your eyelids grow heavy, your thoughts softly dissolve like mist at dawn. Know deeply that you belong, gently cradled in the elemental harmony of the cosmos. May your dreams tonight be filled with quiet wonder and peaceful exploration. Rest now, knowing you are safe, cherished, and connected to this gentle element, to this gentle earth, and to the vast, beautiful silence of the universe itself. Good night, and rest peacefully, embraced by the elemental calm of night chemistry.